I'm Pat Gottman. I am the lay leader for the Caregivers Pathway here at Church of the Palms. We also have responsibility for scheduling our Senior Wellbeing Speaker Series, so welcome. Before I introduce you to our speaker today, I want to tell you about what's coming up in November, because it's a little bit different. We will have a speaker here for 4 weeks in November. October, sorry. I'm planning November. She'll be here in October. Let's see if I can remember this. Thursday mornings from 10 to 12, right here in the chapel. She is going to tell us her story, and she is going to tell us about this amazing thing that we have and carry with us called the brain, and how we don't use a whole lot of it, but if we really knew how to engage it, we are unstoppable as human beings. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Make sure you sign up for that so that we are sure we have a chair for you. If for some reason the world wants to come, we will move it into the sanctuary, but we need you to sign up. So that's coming up in October. We do have a couple of volunteers here today, so if you have not seen the Family Caregiver Resource Center and would like to see it, and the rain stops by the time we're all done here today, please stop one of us. We'd be happy to take you up to the Resource Center and let you know what that's all about. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jill. And if you'll forgive me, I'm going to read this. Jill Grinnell is a certified dementia practitioner, but she has over 30 years of professional experience in the senior care industry, with 20 years of that as the regional executive for Brookdale Senior Living. She is currently the center director at Town Square, Sarasota, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that today. It is an adult day center. It serves about 120 families in our community. And Jill lives in Venice and is the mother of 2 grown boys. Would you welcome Jill Grinnell?
Thank you very much. Oops. Pat, did you tell the people in the back that I bite? You're all welcome to come up closer. I don't bite, and I won't call on people or ask trivia questions, make you answer or anything. So, but thank you for inviting me, Pat. I'm happy to come here and talk today. And today's topic is social isolation and loneliness, especially with caregivers and the folks that they care for. So how many of you care for a loved one at home or in their home? Okay. How many of you know someone that is caring for a loved one at home or in? Okay. So, so I'm going to talk about the importance of being social and preventing people from being isolated, sitting in their homes, watching TV, preventing depression, preventing further progression, and taking care of yourselves as caregivers, and taking care of other friends and family who are caregivers. So I want to tell you a little story about myself, because the one thing that really bothers me is someone talking on a topic that they know nothing about. So, walk a mile in my shoes. So I am a caregiver. I was a caregiver. My husband, when he was 40 years old, was diagnosed with a terminal brain cancer. And so for 3 years, he suffered with a frontal lobe tumor and a parietal lobe tumor, and several more grew. So at 40 years old, I had 2 boys at home. I work full-time. I'm the breadwinner. And My one son has special needs. He's intellectually disabled, so he was in special needs classes. Very difficult to understand what was going on. So he himself was a full-time job. So I was a caregiver. And with the tumors that my husband had, once they did surgery, they cut out a piece of his brain, and he was no longer himself. So he had speech problems and couldn't make his words known. He had impulse problems, so he no longer knew what was appropriate, what was not appropriate. He saw no problem taking his hospital gown off and walking down the hallway because he didn't care what people saw. He no longer knew where the bathroom was. So the bathroom became our refrigerator, our freezer, our washer, our dryer, the corner, our wedding picture. He was very inappropriate. You know, he couldn't drive because he had seizures. So he would sneak out of the house at 4 o'clock in the morning and take my keys and go down to Walmart because no one would see him. He went to the bank every day. He got rides every single day to the bank and would go up to the teller and take money out. $10 here, $10 there, $25. Soon, my son came to me and said, "Mommy, I found $100 in Daddy's closet." That turned out to be $10,000 of money. He would talk to any stranger. Everyone was his friend. I'd come home, he wouldn't be home. Where did he go? He'd fall every night. Every night, I had to get a life alert on him. And this is talking 41, 42, 43 years old. So I was a caregiver. Couldn't leave him alone. I had to work full time. I never asked for help. Call me when you need me. Sure, I'll get right on that. So I also took care of my grandmother who had dementia, vascular dementia, and she had delusions, and the church was going to kick her out because for one reason or another, it was a constant battle to comfort her because the church was very important to her. So I guess you could say I was a caregiver. So a lot of the experiences that you may be experiencing or your friends and family may be experiencing, you know, I have also experienced, and it's hard. I've learned from those experiences, and I'm an advocate for caregivers, and so I emphatically preach about how important it is to take care of yourself. So there were no programs for my husband. I couldn't take him anywhere because assisted living wouldn't take him because of his age. There were no day programs because he wasn't diagnosed as intellectually disabled or anything like that. So it was all me. But, so I've walked. So now you know where it comes from in my heart. So I've taken care of seniors for over 33 years. I keep saying 33 years, but it's been since 1991. I got out of college. This is what I wanted to do, and I've stuck with this path. So let's move on to the next. So today's caregivers. I know this is how I felt. We might feel tired, guilty, and you don't have to do a show of hands, okay? This is all personal. Resentful, maybe a little bit depressed. We may feel blessed. You know, we are the ones, I promised, we are the ones that get to take care of our family, our friend, our loved ones. But at times we feel isolated, like we're in our own little world, we're in our own little, you know, house. Friends don't come over anymore. We don't go out anymore. Maybe we're feeling lonely. Do any of you have any other feelings? that might not be on here that you'd like to share? And it's okay if you don't. Some people might feel alone or frustrated or sad, feel guilty that they're sad or frustrated, overwhelmed. So what does this mean? So caregivers who are chronically feel lonely or socially isolated are 60% more likely to have health problems. So those health problems can be heart conditions, depression, dementia, anxiety, may want to create self-harm, might have a stroke due to high blood pressure and that anxiety, might have a lower immunity. You might find yourself becoming sick more often, and you might have a harder time getting better. Do any of you feel like you are getting, if you are a caregiver, that you have extra stress and you are getting that cold a little bit more? Or if you got COVID, it was a little bit longer? And again, these, you don't have to answer, it's just a... So why is this happening to us? Well, we may be getting a lack of sleep. I know when I took care of my grandma, I slept with one eye open and one ear open. I was waiting for those squeaky little wheels to get up at 4 in the morning to get ready to go somewhere. All dressed up, and I was so afraid she was gonna fall and break a hip. And so, of course, I would get up, and she wanted her oats. And she wanted her water warmed. So I would go get her oats up and make sure that she was sitting at her table so she wouldn't have to worry about that. I slept with one eye open and one ear open with my husband. Please don't find the keys. So we lose sleep. Not eating well. We're making sure our loved ones eat good. We make sure that they have their nutrition, and we're pushing, please eat one more bite, here's your shake. We want their nutrition to stay good, but then we may not be paying attention to ourselves. Does that ever happen? Maybe we put off our doctor's appointments to make sure that our loved one gets to their doctor's appointments and put them first. Maybe that's something that might happen. Guilty. Maybe we feel that we're the ones, we don't want to leave them alone. We're the ones that may care for them better than anybody else. Even though your neighbor says, I'll come and sit with them. I'll come and take care of her. Let me come over and help. I would say no to my neighbor. No, I don't want you to enter into what I go through every day. Maybe it's our friends stop calling because they don't understand how to answer the repetitive questions or how to cope with, responses like, I'm going to see my mother this weekend, and the person's 85 years old. Maybe that makes that person uncomfortable. And of course, I always hate to impose an ask when we need help. I promise you, if I'm in this ever a caregiver again, and this is what in all my support groups, if someone says, let me know if you need any help, this time I'm going to say, I need help with my laundry. I need you to come over at 7 o'clock tomorrow night because I have plans with my friends to go out to dinner. This is my grocery list. My floors need done. I'm gonna have a list of honey-dos because I didn't do it the first time around, and it affected my health, it affected my memory, it affected my stress. I was on 0 medications to 7 medications, so people won't ask if they don't wanna help. That's what I've learned. So those are the whys. Anyone else have any other whys? Why we have these issues? And if you don't have them now, maybe a year or two down the road might happen if we lose focus on ourselves. Okay, so what can you do? Well, this was valuable information. Simple, valuable information. So put your oxygen on first. You go onto the airplane, you got 250 other people. What do they tell you to do? Put your oxygen on first before helping anyone else. And why is that? Yeah, you're going to pass out if you don't take care of your oxygen first, and you won't be able to help those other 200 people or even the little baby next to you. Valuable information. Lisa Gibbons' mother had Alzheimer's, and she wrote a book, Take Your Oxygen First, and it's a good recommended book if you are a caregiver to a loved one. It's a lot easier said than done. Eating healthy, ha ha ha. When I'm stressed, grab the potato chips, the wine, and the chocolate. Get enough sleep. I have to tell you, when I first had my son, the most valuable information someone gave me, sleep when the baby sleeps. I took that advice. I don't take a lot of advice from people because I'm a little stubborn Irish girl. But I took that advice. Every time the baby napped, I didn't worry about cleaning the house, doing laundry. I did that when the baby was awake. So when I took care of my grandma and she took frequent naps, I would jump in bed and take naps if I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning making her oats. It made my life a lot more manageable and easier, on those weekends and that sort of thing. So pursue activities you enjoy. Sounds nice, right? Manage your stress. We question, how do we manage our stress? So stay tuned. Take care of yourself. Okay, I was testing my PowerPoint skills, so. Stay socially connected. So here's some tips. Volunteer. Why volunteer? I'm doing enough at home, right? So volunteer gives a sense of purpose and mission. It boosts your mood, makes you feel good, and improves your health and well-being. So looking back at my caregiver situation, albeit a little bit different, my son, special needs, I started volunteering for Special Olympics. So I started feeling really good because those folks everyone was so happy. And it was such a cool experience. It was life-changing for me, and I looked forward to it every weekend. Get out of the house and to do something meaningful that was not my everyday life. So, and there's so many different things how many of you volunteer or have in the past? So there's so many things here in Sarasota, the Moat Marine, that alligator place, state park down the Myakka State Park, an arts foundation, your church, there's a lot of cool ways to volunteer, whether it be for an hour or a half hour, but it makes you feel good, makes you feel good and have you do something different. So you could also take a class. I know someone in the audience that's taking a new class and you're enjoying it. So start a hobby. That's scary, right? That'd be fun. Join a support group. Learn new technology. That's frightening. Join a club. I was watching a show the other day. It was about these ladies that moved into an independent retirement home. And they're like, you have to join a club once you come here. And if you don't join a club, the great thing is that you can make up your own club. So you can make up, like if your name is Jill, you can make up a club for Jills. But that was a requirement to live there. And there's lots of local resources and programs here in Sarasota. They're everywhere in the paper, just lots of different things to be part of. Why is this important? Staying connected and staying social, again, it's going to help your well-being. It's going to help prevent depression, which can happen. And, it's certainly important for your health. They say that socialization and being social and having those relationships also can help prevent early onset dementia. If you find yourself isolated and not having those connections and conversations, you are more prone to developing some type of memory loss or dementia due to lack of interaction. But you're saying, well, what am I going to do? I can't leave my loved one alone, right? Do any of you have that feeling in the back of your head? Maybe not right now, maybe down the road, or you can only leave for a couple hours. So I'm going to share some options and some resources. So in-home caregivers. Some of these might not work, some of these may work. These are just different things to kind of think about. And we can talk about the pros and cons of each one of them. In-home caregivers, very convenient. And I'll go through each one, in just a little bit. But a reliable friend or neighbor, you're blessed if you have that. Support group. Some support groups offer respite care, where your loved one can come with you, and they may have another activity or program going along. Or they have some support groups that offer the support for both. There's Senior Center, which is a place you can just go and kind of pop in and, partake in whatever they have going on. There's adult daycare, which is a more supervised setting. And then there's places like a Parkinson's Place or a Newer Challenge, which are specific to specific diseases or diagnoses. So those are just a few. So in-home care, companion care, and private duty. The in-home care, the home health care is typically a licensed, prescribed by a physician after an onset of an illness. Or if it's not prescribed, it's usually a private pay. And the pros with that, the people are usually vetted. They usually carry some kind of license. So you're getting someone who's been background checked, trained by a larger company. They can provide therapies like physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Some of them even have different programs to help with socialization and those sort of things. And there's usually, they're more on the expensive end if an insurance does not cover it. And it's usually a limited amount of time. The companion care, this could be, again, a private company, or it can be an individual, and they usually will come in and they can sit with your loved one, converse. There's usually a minimum amount of time, but there are some home or companion companies that will take them out to a movie or take them to get their hair done, different things like that. So provide, socialization, but it's one-on-one. And then there's private duty, which it's just a company coming in and providing, personal care. The companion care usually doesn't provide any physical touch, and the private duty can provide showers and different things like that. So those are options that you can utilize so you can get out and create that socialization amongst yourself and do things that you can enjoy in life. And then support groups. We have lots of different support groups around town, and I encourage this, and not every support group might be for everybody. I hear sometimes, I don't want to come to a group and listen to everybody complain about their lives. I don't want to, talk about my difficult situation. So you really got to find a support group that works for you. There's some support groups that are really uplifting. There's some ladies that just kind of go out to lunch just to get away. I too have been part of a support group that I literally got up in the middle and walked out because I'm like, I can't take it. But there also are some support groups that may fit you. They're not one size fits all. So I encourage you, if you've had that experience or you're like, I just don't want to listen to other people cry, they're not all like that. Some of them are, like a lunch bunch and they just go and laugh or drink wine or do whatever, fits them. And what I have found, and I run 2 support groups at Town Square, some of them have branched off and will come and then go out and hang out or go to the beach or go to the movie or meet for dinner, just to support each other. So we've had some really good friendships come out of them. So, and then there's, again, the Parkinson's and neuro challenges is for brain disorders, stroke, anything to do with the brain. It's Suncoast Aphasia Group, and if anyone is not aware of what aphasia is, it's trouble finding your words. Words come out the wrong way, or there's difficulty speaking, and there's a support group for that. And then the area on aging and the Alzheimer's .org have a list of all their support groups in the area. And I have some links out there for everybody. All right, so now I'm talking about day programs. So to me, this is the fun part, and this is where the socialization and isolation kind of really fixes all of those problems for both of you. So day programs are meant to reduce cognitive decline. So day programs can be a preventative medicine as well, because they're keeping your brain, your loved one's brain active. It's a variety, like the perfect person that would go to daycare is anyone that wants increased socialization, wants a hobby, needs exercise or wants to stay fit, is interested in good nutrition. There's a whole gamut, wants to learn new technology, wants to, take a class, those sorts of things. It increases mental stimulation. There's arts and crafts, there's games, there's things like volleyball, there's trivia, there's exercise, those kind of things. Every day is, a different type of thing. It's just not bingo and beach balls or bingos and balloons and things like that. You might have envisioned what a day center might be. There's also access to medical staff. So physicians will come in. We have podiatrists come in, those kind of things. And hairdressers, that's not medical staff. And then it frees up time for family caregivers. So not only do the caregivers have time to take care of their stuff, and when I say take care of their stuff, I always tell my families, taking care of your stuff is not going to get a mammogram and a haircut. It's take that shower, go out to lunch, go to the beach, ride your bike, do the things that you don't normally get to do to take care of yourself. You know, call those friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, because you can't share what's going on in your life. You know, reach out to, you know, those you've lost contact with. You know, call those friends that you don't get to hang out with or socialize that were so important in your life. Go play golf if that's what you used to do as a hobby. Treat yourself without that guilt, because that's what you need. You know, you need to fill your cup, because if you're not filling your cup and you're only caregiving, which is such an important job, and I commend you all for it, because I don't think I was a good caregiver. I would have been if I kept filling my cup. Maybe not, but no, I would have been. I would have been, because I worked and I was a caregiver. That's it. That's all I did. So, you know, I beg of you, even if it's uncomfortable, to do so. Because I know those people that you reach out and reconnect with and be social and, you know, de-isolate yourself, they'll appreciate it too. And you'll probably have many hands willing to help too. So, anyway, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Town Square. Has anyone heard of Town Square? Okay, so good group of people. So I left my career with Brookdale, and because first off, I was a regional, so I wasn't hands-on direct, which I really, really missed. And I heard about Town Square coming to town, and I just, after I left Brookdale, I took 6 months off. I wrote my own job description. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the center director at Town Square. So I met with the owners, and I'm like, listen, I have got to work here, because this is the first time in a really long time I can make an impact directly. This is what I want to do, you know. So Town Square is a 1950s themed adult day center. I kind of want to call it a club, because there's nothing adult daycare-y about it. You know, like that term just kind of scares people, because when you think of adult daycare, you think of grannies in rocking chairs all lined up, waiting for the next thing to happen. And it is not that at all. We give people a free guest day, and they are making the decision. I've had some husbands say, oh, she's never going to talk to me again. I'm just leaving her here. I'm like, just wait. Just wait. So this is what you see when you walk in. So you walk in the front door, you see a 57 Thunderbird. Everyone remembers their first car, right? Who remembers the car they had 3 cars ago? I don't. You've got a great brain. I can't remember what car. I can't remember if it was the Edge or if it was the other Sorrento. But we're dedicated to caring for not just our members, but their family. Dementia, Parkinson's, whatever issues you have, they're family issues. They affect the entire family. So we don't just care for our members, we care for the entire family. So we make sure the families are good when they go home. We call families, how are you doing? How are you handling things? What do you need? What support do you need? What can we do to help you? So Town Square, like I said, it's modeled after 1950s Main Street. We have 10 different storefronts. Those storefronts slash classrooms. We have a big park in the center. And every 45 minutes after they come in, if they come in for breakfast, we have a coffee. Members get to socialize. They can do the walking club. And then we do a salute to our veterans, our Pledge of Allegiance in our theater, and then we break up in small groups based on their cognitive level. So there's people there that have no cognitive problems at all, but they want to stay that way. They want to be proactive, start keeping healthy, prevent falls, meet other people, hang out with other veterans. Some people feel that they're volunteers there. Again, we have a wide variety of people. So we have those folks with nothing. We have people that have some mild cognitive impairment, and their neurologist just said, you know what? In order to keep at this level here, we need you to attend town square. It's going to prevent any further cognitive decline, or at least slow it down. So we think, we should come here X amount of days. We have some people who feel that they work there. This is their job. We have a few people that think this is school. And it's a really cool school, and they love it. And, we have some people feel that they volunteer or work there. So we cater to whatever they feel it is. We have some members leading groups. We have some we just, whatever it does to give them purpose and have them feel good. Well, their caregiver is out doing what they need to do to recharge their battery. It was designed by a doctor who specialized in Alzheimer's, and he was actually the doctor who discovered that Alzheimer's could be diagnosed pre-mortem. In the past, Alzheimer's could only be diagnosed with an autopsy. And he decided to do PET scans and MRIs of brain images. And after a period of time, they could put them up and see the brain shrinking, the actual gray matter, turning to white, and that would indicate that a diagnosis of Alzheimer's could be found. And so he started the first adult day program for people specifically with Alzheimer's. And with that, he saw improvement. He saw people blossoming. He also saw people leveling, people, having much more quality care, keeping that brain active constantly rather than sitting in front of a TV at home doing nothing.
What's his name?
Dr. Glenner. Glenner, Glenner. So we have very highly trained people. We're trained on dementia. We're trained on Lewy body. We're trained on specific different kinds of dementia. We are trained on hard of hearing. We are trained on low vision. So we know how to handle and adapt any program to each individual. So we know how to run a program to someone that has absolutely zero dementia to someone that is at a later stage of dementia and doesn't understand how to eat with a fork or what to do with a paintbrush. So we can adapt to every single individual. And we have a hobby room that we have a woodworker. We'll go out and buy a wood project. We have someone who enjoys making plastic models. We will go out and get a plastic model kit. We have someone who enjoys weaving. We went out and got weaving supplies. We will stop at nothing to make sure. Someone's like, do you play Rubik, or not Rubik's Cube? The Rummy Cube, yeah. I'm like, well, we do now. So we went out and got it. Backgammon, yeah, we have a backgammon club. here was the backgammon board. Found our members that played backgammon, and we started it. So we're very proactive that way. And we'll just add it. You like accordion music, accordion gym? We're going to schedule them next week. So it's just, we go above and beyond things like that. So this is just a couple pictures. The programming, again, our programming is very Montessori based, and that promotes a lot of choice and independence. We do have everything planned, but if someone comes in and is like, I'm not bowling today, I just don't feel like it. I was made to bowl when I was a kid and it gives me nightmares. Well, great, we're gonna find something else. We have a 4-page biography that we do, and we make sure that we have the staff, our staffing ratio is 1 to 5. So we can do one-on-one, and they gave the backgammon yesterday because no one in her family will play backgammon with her. So she has been starving for backgammon. And, the staff got together. We had an old set, and it like fell apart. So the staff's like, I'll bring my board in, I'll get my board. And this lady was so thrilled because now she's got several backgammon partners, and she's so excited, that she's got this to do. And then, let's see. We are bringing in the arts. We have acting classes, we have improv classes, we have come together chorus, which we have the Key Chorale choir leading. We have art therapists come in. We have music therapists come in. We've got the steel drum band that plays at Nokomo's in Venice coming in. So we have top of the line music. We have intergenerational programs going on. We honor our vets. We have veterans pinnings. So we have a really, really, my goal was to make sure that this was the best program in the entire nation. That nobody could say, oh, well, they do it better up in New Jersey, because that's not going to happen as far as I'm concerned. But we've got pet therapy, we have dog shows, we've got all sorts of different things that, what I hope is that someone cannot say they have nothing here for me. I can't find anything that I like. So this is down below, that's one of our pinning ceremonies. So here's just a couple pictures of what our storefronts. This up here is our rec room. So that's a popular room. We got pool, we got skee ball, shuffleboard. It's our exercise room. We have specialized chairs to help with balance, so people can either stand and do exercise or they can sit. We have strengthening. And then that's our library. That's our movie theater. We got a movie theater. And then, this is our little blue house. That's the replica of Dr. Glenner's first adult daycare, which was held in his house. And Rosie's Diner, we serve breakfast, a healthy catered lunch and snack. And then that's our park. And we've got bowling, we've got bocce ball, we've got 8 holes of golf, we've got badminton, volleyball, you name it. So I've got a funny story because, we serve about 50 people a day. And we had a new member come in, and it was time for her to go home, and her daughter came to pick her up, and we're like, okay, your ride is here. And she's like, no. And we're like, well, no, we're closing at 4:30. And she's like, no, I'm staying. And I'm like, we close. She's like, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here. And another one of our members is like, can we just have a slumber party some night? And I'm like, you don't have any beds here, we close. Wouldn't it be fun? Can you make this into an assisted living place? I'm like, we need rest sometime. it's a lot of fun, but we got to go home to our families. So, it's a nice option. And when people leave, the words we get, like, this was just the best day. I feel so accomplished. I feel like this is my job. I just love it here. How do you guys keep smiling all the time? You guys must be exhausted when you go home. But our team loves it. They feel like it's the family. You hear about all these staff shortages around, good quality care. I have people begging to work. So I get to pick the cream of the crop. And, if they don't, it's like, can I come in early? Or people for taking time off. It's like, well, I want to take Friday off, and they'll look at the calendar and be like, oh gosh, the steel drum guy's coming. I can't take that day off because I want to be there for that entertainment. Or, oh, I can't take Friday off because it's 80s day. So, we celebrate the team too, and they're just amazing. So, but anyway, moral of the story, keep your battery charged. There should be no guilt keeping your battery charged. You'll take better care of yourself. Will help you take better care of your loved one. Ask for help. Keep your social connections. And do not stay isolated. Isolation will shrink your brain, shrink your body, shrink your mind, and it will make you go crazy. Pat?
Can we give Jill a hand and then we'll open it up for questions? I think I have never met anyone who loves her job more. It is wonderful. I have one question that maybe you can be addressing, and then if you just want to raise your hand. The reason we use the mic is we record these sessions, so we can hear your questions as well as Jill's answers. You did a great job of talking about especially the need to break the isolation for caregivers. Can you talk just a little bit more about what you've seen in your environment and in your 30 years of experience about seniors in general in terms of their quality of life and their individual well-being by keeping some socialization? We all tend to stay at home more. We all tend, especially with chronic illnesses, to stay close to home. But can you talk to why we as caregivers or just family members should really push our loved ones not to feel so isolated or make themselves so isolated despite what they may be dealing with in terms of other issues?
Yeah, well, I think we saw it during COVID. COVID really did a big toll on everybody because we could not leave our houses. We were stuck. Stores were closed, everything was closed. And how many of you felt the effects of COVID and lost people due to it? The importance of it is for your health and for your well-being. As I mentioned in that one slide, when we isolate ourselves and when we lack social connection, we lose that ability. First off, your brain is so important. It's your biggest muscle. And you're having that speaker come next week about how we have this. I didn't say biggest muscle, but it's your most important part of your entire body. And there's so many things that you need to do with it. But the socialization is the important piece because it's a big part of your health. When you socialize and you're interacting, not only are you using every part of your brain, you're gaining some support. I don't know if I'm right on what you're talking about, but if you look in any research too, they say the number one thing to help prevent dementia or memory loss is socializing. It's not riding your bike, it's not anything. I mean, socialization is the number one thing based on research.
Thank you. Other questions?
This is actually more of a comment. You have adopt a pet under your Stay Connected slide. Somebody who adopts a dog and walks that dog even 10 or 15 minutes a day is going to stay way more connected than somebody who doesn't. You'll meet your neighbors, you'll meet other people walking. It really makes a difference. One of the reasons I say that is at the beginning of the pandemic, I would be walking my dog every afternoon, and the neighbors were out. And one of them one day told me, he says, "You're the only person who'll stop and talk, 10 feet away." But it made a difference to all of us, when we would stop and yell at each other to stay connected.
Yeah, that's very true. And the Humane Society has a program for seniors that you can adopt a senior pet, and they'll provide you, I don't know if this is still going on, but they'll provide you the food and everything else to adopt a pet. At least it was going on when I had talked to them last, but there's so many senior pets that are abandoned, because they've lost their caregivers.
Yeah. Plus the actual physical exercise that you get by walking the dog.
Yeah.
Did you have a question? Okay. Other. Oh.
Yeah. Where is there a town square here?
We are located Central Sarasota Parkway. So if you just take Beneva south and take a left or, go south on 41, we're in the Coles Plaza. And I have on the table out there, there's free half-day passes to try a guest day. Yes.
So I know I explored this for my husband when y'all first opened. Are you doing half days now? Because I don't see him doing a whole day. He's not an early riser.
We charge a full day because our employees are paid full days and we have to accommodate for full day staffing, but we have people coming in at a variety of times. Okay. So some people come in at 10:30, some people at 11. They don't have to be there at 8:30 in the morning. Was he a veteran?
Yeah.
Okay, so a veteran, have you tried applying for the Veterans Community-Based Benefits?
I have not. It took me a long time to get his discharge papers.
Okay.
And so I just haven't revisited that.
Okay, I have the number out there. So it's on Bee Ridge, and if you go to them, they'll set you up because they know we charge, most daycares will charge a daily rate, and that's how their billing works, is the daily rate. So.
Okay, because the last time I talked to somebody about that, it didn't seem like that was going to be an opportunity somehow.
Yeah, with our staffing ratio being 1 to 5, we have to accommodate.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying when I talked to the VA, it didn't sound like they were going to cover it.
Well, we've got our VA. There's another town square.
What do I need to ask to get them to cover it, I guess is the better question.
I would go there and just say, I'm interested in Town Square Sarasota. My husband would like to go there, and request, how many days you'd like. And, they'll either approve or not approve through the process.
As I remember it, you recently got this connection with them, right?
No,
You
we've
haven't
had it-
for a long, long time?
We've had it for 2 years, for almost 2 years.
Really?
Since we
Okay.
opened.
Okay, so whatever transpired might transpire again.
Yeah, we got approved immediately.
Yeah, my dad's been going to Town Square for almost 2 years, and he's a veteran, and he does, that is one of the veterans' benefits, so they pay for that. I think you do have to be a wartime vet, and he had a disability while he was in the service, so I'm not sure if that's, but I know you do have to, I think you have to be a wartime vet to.
He is a wartime vet, he is not disabled from the service.
But I just wanted to speak to Town Square because this has been a godsend for me. It helps give balance to my life because while my dad is there, I'm able to go to the gym and do all the things that I don't have time for. And I feel like Town Square has really brought him out and given him confidence because he is one of the higher functioning people there. And so they've told me he's like a leader there. And so it really, his mental health is so much better since he's been going there. He feels very safe, and the staff is very, very caring. He feels like, he told me anything that I need or want, that they really try to do as much as they can to meet your needs. Anything you want, they really, like she said, they'll provide it. And I just wanted to say that when she said that they not only care for the person that goes there, they care for the family. So I just want to let you know that, like, during the last hurricane that we had lost power and water, and they called, the director there called me up and he said, "What do you need?" And he brought me over an ice chest. He allowed me to bring my dad to Town Square. We were able to take a shower there. And he said if I needed to wash my clothes, I could wash my clothes there. So they really go out of their way to support the families as well as the person attending.
Yeah, could you repeat or spell the name of the author in that book that you referenced early on? Lisa Gibbons or something?
Lisa Gibbons, yeah, it's Leeza Gibbons, Gibbons. Wasn't she a news person like on GMA, Good Morning America or something? Yeah, she was. Yep.
Any other questions? It is not raining outside, so we're actually going to be able to get home. Yes.
I can see transportation being a problem for some of these people. What access to transportation do you recommend, or are they supported in any way with transportation?
We have had great success with SCAT Plus. It's $3 each way, and they go up to the door. They will bring the person to their van, and we do what I call red carpet service. Most of the time, it's myself personally, will go to the car, open up their door, welcome them, let them know what we're having for breakfast, and we've been waiting for them. Just in case there's any hesitation, that hesitation goes right out that door, and take them in, and then at the end of the day, we bring them out to their car, let the family know how the day went, because sometimes they'll be like, "What'd you do today?" "Well, nothing, I just sat there." I sat there waiting for something to do. But we can explain, here's what they did in art, this is a great day, so. But the SCAT drivers, they have the same consistent SCAT driver every day. So if we get a report that they drove too fast or they were getting car sick, we have talkings. I'm like, precious cargo here. I don't want to hear about fast driving, or you need to drop them off first. I was reported that it took 45 minutes and should I take 5? You know, so we have a good relationship with these drivers. We also use a transportation agency called Stellar. And if we have enough members driving, they give us a really, really ridiculous discount. But we have to have a certain number of people that are driving on that. But Scat Plus has been wonderful. Yeah. And they will take wheelchairs, walkers, they have a lift. Yeah.
And you take wheelchairs as well, right? So
Absolutely.
if someone is wheelchair bound, that does not matter for your
Yes.
facility, they can take part in it.
Yes, we have a nurse. We also have a personal care assistant that does nothing but help people with personal care so that our program assistants stay focused on their classes. They do not leave the class. They do not take their attention off our members. If someone needs standby assistance while walking, we provide that. So if someone has a fall risk or has issues or has a walker, we have our hand on them.
Another round of applause for Jill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been very helpful.
Thank you so much for coming and braving the rain that we need so badly. And I invite you all to take some of the literature out there, grab a guest pass. If you're not going to use it, please pass it on to someone who might. It's for the Sarasota location on Central Sarasota Parkway. Thank you. Drive safe.